told you. Candace Owens is not playing about this situation. She literally says she knows exactly who's been putting pressure on Charlie Kirk.
Hi lovelies, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Belinda Strana. Thank you so much for all the love and support. To my returning subscribers, to those people that share my videos, leave commentaries, and also educate each and every one of us. You guys,
I came across this video on my For You, and I thought to share where Candace actually came out to talk about how she has so many receipts to prove that whatsoever that happened to Charlie Kirk has everything to do with Israel. This actually inspired people to keep asking, and also a lot of conversation on the space of social platform to talk about how, okay, why is she coming out to say this? Like, everybody were like shocked and trying to tell her to pipe low. Lovelies, I'm just going to roll the clip because this her speech actually brought up some other findings about her and some group of people. Lovelies, leave me your own thought in the comment section of what you think of this video. And please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. Alright, lovelies, let's dive into it.
Worst massacre of them all, the Holocaust.
Well, he's mentioned the Holocaust. Guess we can't prod the narrative any further, guys. Holocaust. So everybody's just stopped talking about anything. I mean, hey, he's the victim. It's absurd. It's just absurd. The Holocaust happened. You heard him. We're sick of this shit. We really are. And there will be no narrative that I will not prod when it comes to figuring out why people are lying about the state that Charlie was in when it came to the topic of Israel. Again, you can examine Charlie in his own words. He was starting to talk about topics that you're not really allowed to talk about when you take money and big checks are being written. And that pressure was increasing every single day. In fact, he was telling the truth even about Jeffrey Epstein. Take a listen.
Epstein, with his little friend Ghislaine and Ghislaine's father, Robert Maxwell, who was obviously a spy of the Israeli intelligence agencies, but there was something else going on here. Epstein was not some sort of whiz kid hedge fund manager. Epstein was playing a part. Epstein was a LARPer. Epstein was cast for a specific role, and he played it really well. The sweatpants and the Harvard jacket, the kind of disheveled hair, looking as if he was so smart and above the clouds that he was doing advanced mathematic equations on the back of napkins. But if you actually go into some of the videos of people that met with Epstein at the time, they said he was awfully unimpressive when it came to finance and markets and economics. And it's nothing new that if you're in the intel agencies, you want to try and get as much blackmail on powerful people as possible. Easy, not hard. And this is no longer just speculation. First of all, the evidence that shows that Epstein was a creation of either Mossad, Israeli intelligence, American intelligence, Saudi intelligence, or maybe he was just a hired gun. Maybe he was just the guy that countries would go to and park a couple $100 million and say, hey, can you get one of the members of the royal family with a 13-year-old so we can get them to do what we want to do? Members of Congress are actively being blackmailed. The Epstein playbook is being used on a daily basis. Jeffrey Epstein was not a financier. He was not a hedge fund manager. Jeffrey Epstein was a key player in a multi-decade blackmail operation against the most powerful people on the planet.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. It seems to conflict with BB's narrative a little bit. Yeah, just a tiny bit. I do want to say this. It's important because I am angry. I will obviously, I pray to move on from this phase, but it's a fire in my belly right now. To those of you who think that you are going to replace Charlie Kirk, okay? Kings are born. You don't just get to depose and tell us that we're going to follow this individual, okay? I'm one of the Masons of Turning Point USA. You put a shill in Charlie Kirk's chair, in Charlie Kirk's company, and you try to tell us to follow that individual, I will be an enemy of you. There will be nothing that can stop me. Okay? And I want you guys to understand, this is not a threat. This is a promise. There will be nothing that can stop me. I will release every single text message. So to those of you who are trying that, I'm seeing the messages, I am telling you to back off right now. Like right now, don't do it. Okay? Don't you think about it. I know exactly who you are. I know exactly who you were that were exerting pressure. Don't you pretend to be noble now and say nice things about Charlie Kirk and think you're going to slide into his chair. Okay? Over my dead body, which I'm sure can be arranged.
I told you. Candace Owens is not playing about this situation. She literally said she knows exactly who's been putting pressure on Charlie Kirk before his unaliving. She looked in the camera. Matter of fact, it's caught on video. I told y'all, Candace Owens is not playing around. She said she'll release text messages. She'll release all the information out. And she said before they keep pushing this narrative, she would not allow the people who was putting all that pressure on Charlie Kirk, who possibly did this to him, to try to push their narrative and get into his seat. That woman said over her dead body, would she allow that to happen with Charlie Kirk? And then she said, it can be arranged. Oh, y'all think Candace Owens playing? I'ma say it again. I told y'all she not gonna let this one slide. Y'all done gave this woman another purpose. Y'all done gave this woman a mission. And just like I said the other day, she is not gonna let this go.
Candace Owens was dropping bombs tonight on her most recent episode, Why Are They Lying About Charlie Kirk, revealing that Bill Ackman, one of Charlie's biggest donors, gave the FBI $1 million for a reward to whoever identified the shooter. And now that money is going to the alleged shooter's dad. Watch this.
That's not clear to me is that the story that we were told was that Tyler Robinson allegedly, after speaking with the pastor, his dad turned him in. Bill Ackman put up $1 million, right? Thanks, Bill. He really cared about Charlie. And that money is now going to the father of this child who, after prayer and speaking to a pastor, they're saying, okay, well, he turned himself in. That we were told he turned himself in. Now we're being told that actually he hasn't confessed. So I'm just wondering, how do you turn yourself in without confessing? Because if I say my kid did it, that's enough for an arrest?
Mike Robinson was being called the father of justice, and we were told that he was involved in law enforcement. But now we know that's actually not true at all. In fact, Matt Robinson operates a family-owned construction company. The Washington County Sheriff's Office even had to issue a statement to clarify, saying Deputy Matt Robinson is not connected or related to the individual apprehended last night. But of course, the media wanted you to think that he was. Now, Candace Owens made many other claims about Bill Ackman on this episode, and he has taken to Twitter to vehemently deny all of them. But he hasn't denied this. I mean, it's totally normal, right? For just a good dad to turn in his son and then get $1 million. As always, I want to hear what you think about all of this down below.
All right, family, let's slow down and really look at what's happening here. So Charlie Kirk was killed in Utah. He was shot from a rooftop with a scope Mauser rifle. A 22-year-old named Tyler Robinson has been arrested. We're told that he confessed to his father and called a youth pastor who just so happens to also be a court officer. The suspect surrendered. The weapon was recovered, wrapped in a towel with bullet casings engraved with phrases like "Hey fascist catch" and "Bella Ciao," which is an anthem of Italian resistance fighters. Now, on the surface, the story looks simple. Angry young man radicalized, he acted alone, case closed. But as we start connecting the dots, a lot of these things just don't add up. The first red flag is this wasn't random. He arrived on campus 4 hours early. He waited and he set up a sniper rifle. That's planning, that's training, and that's something that the average college kid just doesn't pull out of nowhere. The second red flag for me was the Discord messages that allegedly showed him retrieving a gun from a drop point. That's not the language of someone acting alone. That's the language of coordination. So who else was in the chats? Who left the weapon, and why aren't we hearing more about that? The third red flag for me is the political identity doesn't line up. So public records say that he was unaffiliated. He didn't vote, right? He came from a Mormon Republican family, yet the bullet casings read like a script from a left-wing revolutionary. Is that like genuine radicalization, or is that someone planting evidence to frame the story? And let's not forget this. Donald Trump himself announced the arrest before investigators did and immediately called for the death penalty. So why is the president rushing to control the narrative of an active investigation? Family, I'm not here to say that I know the truth of what happened, but I do know this. When stories come prepackaged too neatly, when the contradictions are this loud, and when the government moves this fast to shape the narrative, that's when we need to be asking the loudest questions. So let me ask you guys, who benefits from us just believing this was just one disturbed kid? Why aren't investigators talking about the drop point like it could be a bigger network, And why is transparency always the first thing that disappears when politics and power are at stake? Until these questions are answered, don't let anyone tell you that the case is closed.
They're all in the same club that you ain't in. All of them. All of them. And you know why they make that hand symbol? Because it looks like that. And that's the Freemason symbol. But don't take my word for it. Let's hear what Candace Owens has to say about it. That's a funny looking symbol too. I wonder what that one means. Remember, they love the number 3. As in 1, 2, 3. Funny how they're both making it. He's the supposedly. Now let's hear from Candace.
Those of you who think that you are going to replace Charlie Kirk, okay? Kings are born. You don't just get to depose and tell us that we're going to follow this individual.
Okay, tough girl.
Okay? I'm one of the Masons of Turning Point USA.
Excuse me? Baking powder?
I'm one of the Masons of Turning Point USA.
Oh.
You put a shill in Charlie Kirk's chair, in Charlie Kirk's company.
She's one of the Masons. One of the Masons. The people all on the TV. Like, you can't get on the TV unless you join their elite club. It's kind of like all of them. That's a funny symbol. It kind of looks like horns to me. And if you think it's I love you, come on. And you can't get on the TV unless you join the club. It's time to figure this out, people. They've been lying to you long enough. But of course, all this for entertainment purposes. I'm sure that every single ever celebrity and government person just happens to be doing this and the devil horns because it's fun and cute for picture's sake only. Come on. Entertainment only. All coincidence.
Candace Owens posted 3 days ago, Discord has come out to tell us that the feds are lying about Charlie Kirk's death. Something a lot of us suspect. But what exactly does she mean? Then right after she posts this, Charlie Kirk was fighting with some very powerful billionaires that he took money from over things he was discussing. Does this mean Israel? What are we talking about here? The pressure on him was immense over the last 2 weeks. The truth will be revealed, the messages will be leaked, and the movement he built will rise up. And then we saw Charlie Kirk's wife giving that message about these widows' cries will echo around the world like a battle cry, something like that, right? And I heard that. I felt like she was giving some cryptic message about like some unknown organization. I'm trying to follow a pattern here. Then she posted 2 days ago, Satan's children can hardly contain themselves. The mere idea of murder excites them, right? Okay. Then this David Freeman says to her, you're not Charlie's friend, you hate Israel, he loved Israel, you hate the Jewish people, blah, 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 blah. And she responds, David, do not make me release the correspondence me and Charlie had about you recently. I said people who call for murder are children of Satan. I wonder why you felt that was an insult to Jews. Every lie will be exposed. Buckle up. And here, I just feel like she's entering into dangerous territory. Okay, then right here it says, according to another source, Charlie kicked off day one of the retreat by stating that if he tweeted, I think Bibi Netanyahu should resign, he would be unfairly attacked. This allegedly agitated Seth Dillon, who replied that most people would perceive that to be anti-Semitic. So, what's going on here? Because then we see, this, stuff like that, right? Our videos talking about it that are getting taken down. Stay tuned because I am making a major, huge episode where I'm going to connect all the dots and expose it. But in the meantime,
Candace Owens alludes that Charlie Kirk's death has something to do with Israel. Listen to this. Just in, Candace Owens claims threats were made to Charlie Kirk during intense intervention with Bill Ackman in the Hamptons weeks ago. Owen claims that Kirk was having a change of heart on Israel before his death and says he was contacted by Bibi Netanyahu. I know that Charlie was offered a ton of money in this moment, a ton of money. Ackman has denied the claims, calling them totally false. But watch Candace's video.
He declined to go to Israel for, I would describe this as like, re-education camp. We've seen it. You made an uh-oh, but we can help you. We just need you to come out to Auschwitz and take a picture. Yeah. We just need you to come to the Holocaust Museum and take a photo. We just need you to go to Israel and we can make this better. Charlie said no to Bibi. Okay. Bill Ackman, if you would like to dispute that, I would love to hear what you say happened, because our sources and what we have, it's solid. Okay. There were conversations that took place, messages that were sent at that time, and they are solid. So I decided another person that was there, and I am not surprised this person was there. If you've been listening to my show, Seth Dillon. I was going to go to Seth Dillon, and I decided to message him last night about this Hamptons meeting. And Seth Dillon, who is normally very quick with a response, has not yet been able to respond. I'll show you this text message chain. And I want to be clear, I am not someone who normally publicizes text messages. But my friend was shot in the neck, and I'm just not really in the state right now to be polite when it comes to the answers that I am demanding, okay? This is me out to Seth Dillon last night. I sent him Bill Ackman's tweets because, he tweeted, I feel incredibly privileged to have spent a day and shared a meal with Charlie Kirk this summer. He was a giant of a man.
We're just going to have to follow the story and see where it goes.
Like, seriously, lovelies. When I saw the stitches of my For You, I was like, oh my God. I think there is so many things going on at the same time, with the fact that this young man was unalived, and before you know it, Candace, at the other hand, she's talking about how it has everything to do with, Israel. There is one thing that struck me that I keep asking myself. Like, she claimed, or she talked about how Charlie Kirk was actually paid to say so many things. Like, he is often being paid to say things from billionaires. And now, Candace, on the other hand, is coming out to try to make it look like Israel and Netanyahu, and we know there is a history between these two. I could remember that there was a time, I think she was actually working with people that has to do with this Israel people, but one thing led to the other. There was a case of Jesus is king or Christ is king that caused a controversy, and because of that, I think they relieved her of her duties, and she started working on her own. But right about now, with all of the things going on, because I have seen so many people claiming that most of the things that Charlie Kirk has been saying is something that he was actually paid to say. So does it mean that what Candace is saying right now, is it that she's actually paid to say, or is it that these people are just trying to like divert everything to make it look like, okay, Latin and Israel and everything has everything to do with this? Like there is something going on. Something is really not adding up, you know? Something is not adding up at all. And with the guy who actually committed the offense, there is so many things that people really need to, if they want to go in digging, to tell you that at the end of the day, something might happen and they'll just want to channel it to make it look like, oh, it is, this is the way it is, or this is how it was supposed to be, or try to just make it not to be so suspicious. Now, this young dude all of a sudden started, talking about and pushing the Epstein files, right? And now he's been on live. So many people were of the opinion that, okay, it has everything to do with this. So many people were like, oh, these things are not adding up. And now Candace, at the other hand, is coming out to speak. The thing is that she really needs to be very, very careful and needs to be protected, because at this right now, I think this is actually a time for everyone to just lie low. Her herself, Candace Owen, needs to really maybe lie low for now and try to look for ways to protect herself, because there are more than meets the eyes. There are really more than meets the eyes. I think freedom of the speech is no longer freedom of speech anymore. You're not free to say things, even if you think you're free. There are some other people who actually think that you're not free to say things, you know? And so many people have observed Candace talking about how, oh, there is something about her that have changed. Oh, she's somehow, sometime, and like seriously, like I said earlier on, this year there are so many things that is just happening at the same time. If it's not, you know, outbreak of diseases here and there, you hear about so many things, aliens coming. Like there are so many things that is happening that actually warrant us as human beings to just commit everything in the hands of God, live a good life, pray, fast, and just be of a good behavior. Because at the end of the day, we are all just human. At the end of the day, no one is even perfect. At the end of the day, we just have to just keep living and keep hoping and hoping for the best and praying. You know, nobody actually really know what is going on, but 1 plus 2, okay, at the end of the day, the truth shall prevail. My take and my advice to Candice is that, I said, like, oh man, I think she should just lie low and just leave this in alone. Like, all of these people, anyway, lovelies, wanna just leave me your own thoughts in the comment section of what you think of this video. And please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. We're just here for educational and informative purposes. So, lovelies, if you're not subscribed to this channel, do your girl a huge favor to click on the subscription button. Like, and I will see you, lovelies, when I upload
Get
the
that we
next
do
one.
not support any form of bullying and harassment. We are just here for educational and informative purposes. So, lovelies, wanna just leave me your own thoughts, subscribe, and I will see you, lovelies, when I upload the next one.